I'm going to outline each of the sections of the IA so that they're clear and you understand what to do. The first section is personal engagement. The IB is looking for, in the personal engagement section, evidence of personal engagement in the exploration that's clear with significant independent thinking, initiative and creativity. The justification given for choosing the research question and or the topic under investigation demonstrates personal significance, and there is evidence of personal input and initiative in designing, implementing or presenting the investigation. So basically, you need to show that you actually care about the question that you're asking. The research question is fundamental. So in your research question, you need to show that answering that research question is important to you. For example, things that I've heard in the past. I am a hockey player. I'm obsessed with finding the perfect way of scoring a goal. I need absolute control of the ball. So I want to know at what angle shall I hit a ball that will give me the longest range. In that way, I can get it across the pitch at the quickest possible, in the quickest possible time. That's a problem and a question which is directly related to the research question. How does angle affect range? If I can investigate that relationship, it will solve my real world problem. Here's another one. I enjoy cooking, but I always feel that I use too much oil. The amount of oil that I put in expands, and by the time I actually start, I've got huge amounts because that oil has gotten bigger. What is the relationship between the volume of oil that I heat and its expansion? Or you could say, what is the relationship between the temperature and the expansion of the oil? If I answer that question, I will have an idea of how much oil to put in when I'm cooking. So you have a problem and you have a research question. Here's one from music. I've noticed my guitar, when it heats up, goes out of tune. What is the effect of that temperature on the length of the guitar string, and how does that then affect the frequency? So you have a problem, a question, and when you answer the question, you can solve the problem. The checklist that I will use to grade your work includes this. Have you mentioned why you're interested in this topic? So, why are you interested in guitars, basketball, cooking? Because there's something you do in your spare time, because you find them interesting, they're your hobby. Okay? But you can come up with your own. Real life connections. Well, that's the hobby aspects and need to be of genuine interest. So maybe say something about the fact that playing guitar is something you've been doing for like 10 years, or you play in a band. Justify the fact that it's interesting. Don't just say it's something you do. If you are doing a sports related one, then justify it by saying how many years you've been playing. Are you in any tournaments? Make it really connected to you. Clearly link the research question and the reason for choice. You can only do that if your research question is asking a question that will solve a problem related to your investigation. The second way of demonstrating personal engagement is by providing an original experimental method. That means that you really think and are creative about the way that you're exploring your two variables. Maybe you're building some equipment. Maybe you are doing it at home, which you all are at the moment, and you've had to be really clever about replacing some standard lab equipment. In any case, make sure that you use lots of photographs, right? So you must take photos of your setup and show that you have come up with an original experimental method. And then lastly, and this doesn't apply to everyone, you might feel that you want to compare different methods. So you might be doing an experiment which isn't quite so easy to demonstrate personal interest in, but what your personal interest is in then is in the comparison of different methods. I'm really interested in how projectiles in simulations differ from projectiles in real life. Or I'm going to do an exploration of different ways of investigating the photoelectric effect. You want to compare, you're actually genuinely interested in the difference between the theoretical and the practical. So that's another way that you can demonstrate personal interest. It's only 2 points, so before you get too worked up about how to get maximum marks in this section, simply by saying something like, I really like art, I'm going to investigate different colours. Colours are really important because they're a fundamental part of art, will probably get you something close to 1 mark anyway. All right, so if you have some kind of justification for why you've chosen it, which goes a little bit beyond, I like it. If you explain it's a hobby, if it's explain something that you're interested in, then you'll probably just get 1 mark. So don't go too crazy on trying to get 2 marks if it doesn't quite fit with your experiment or the experiment you've chosen.